What is going on, guys? It's Reflex here, and the next voice impression tutorial is going to be on Black Panther. One of the coolest voices I've heard this year, and honestly in a long time, because it's unique, but also one of the tougher voices to teach, but I want to take that challenge. So I've seen it be requested on many videos, not on my videos, but it has been requested to me on Twitter. So I want to do my best to teach it. So before we even get into it at all, listen to the voice impression right here, and if it doesn't sound up to your liking, then you can leave the video. But if it does sound up to your liking, then go ahead and stick around, and let's see if we can teach everyone how to do it.
What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world.
So right now, hopefully that voice impression sufficed for you, and you think that, I'm good enough to teach you guys. If not, then you're probably not even watching at this point. But yes, let's get right into it. So step one is going to be a little bit different than Snake, because rather than finding the tone, first we're going to find the pitch. So when it comes to doing this voice, it's a little bit, it sounds deep kind of, but it also sounds higher. So first, we're going to take the line that we did, because one thing about this line, the what happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world, it actually, that tone and that pitch right there is kind of used for most of the voice. So honestly, once you learn this, you will pretty much learn the rest of the voice, which is the good thing about it. But let's think about it for a second. Now, what happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world. It's up there. It doesn't sound like Black Panther right now, but right now we're stripping the voice down of everything, of the tone, the accent, and everything. It is looking for the pitch. So that is the pitch. What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world. What happens now? And just repeat that over and over. Find the original clip if you want to, if it'll make it easier, and just repeat it over and over until you get it. Now once you got that down, let's actually get into the tone. Now what I've noticed from listening to Black Panther throughout the movie, it sounds like an airier tone, and the way, honestly, that's the best way I can describe it. And also sounds like the tongue is kind of towards the top of the mouth, and that's what I do when I actually do the voice impression. Now I would say when you're going to start practicing the tone, just try to speak with some air. So what happens now determines, you see how I'm using the air a little bit? I know it kind of, I know I kind of sound stupid, but this is how I got to teach it. So just kind of think of it that way, an airy sound. So what happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world. And try to do it that way, but also try to put your tongue at least on the roof of your mouth, because that will help. It'll help with the airier sound. Now once you get that done, put the pitch and the little bit of the tone together, and just keep practicing it like that. So what happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world. And just keep repeating that until you get it down. Now onto the bread and butter of the voice, which is the accent, and it also is the hardest thing to do. But once you get this down, you pretty much have the voice when you mix it in with the rest of the things. So the thing is, I watched an interview as well as watching the movie itself, because I kind of took a different approach on learning it. But what Chadwick Boseman said actually about creating his Black Panther accent is that basically he took a South African style accent, and basically that was his base, and he took it from there and built it up. But if you're like me and really can't figure out accents like that, or you didn't really take the time to learn them like that, and you just kind of want to learn the voice right away, then just rather listen to him speak. Listen to the inflections of the words, how he pronounces his words. Now, I realize that when I'm going to put this line on the screen, it's going to seem a little weird, like nothing's going to be spelled correctly, but this is just how I taught myself how to pronounce the line in the Black Panther voice. So basically, just sound it out the way you would with the airy tone and the tongue on the roof of the mouth, if that helps, and basically pronounce it in the same pitch as well, but pronounce it the way you see it on the screen. So first you're going to be like, what happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world. So I know that sounds a little weird, but when you get to the rest, you kind of not really roll your R, but like do just a quick roll, like the rest, like something really quick like that. And then you just kind of put it together with all the tones. So what happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world. And that might not sound perfect, but you got to kind of blend it together. And that's the fourth step, blending it all together. Now, hopefully, I know the accent part was probably butchered for the reason that it's hard to teach an accent. It honestly is, because I'm not a native, so I really can't give a representation on how it actually is supposed to be. And I've learned from Chadwick's, kind of response on how he said he created it, is that, well, other people said, basically in comments on the interview that his accent really comes from all around Africa. It's not just South. It kind of sounds like a blend between all of them, and that's why I can't really give a representation on how to do the accent, but hopefully the pronunciations work. Because once you get those slight pronunciations down on that one line, then you can honestly plug that into the rest of the lines. Now, when it comes to blending, basically you just want to use what you've learned. So first, the pitch. So what happens now determines, and then you use the tone with the air. What happens now determines what happens, and then you're going to use the little bit of pronunciation or the accent, depending on which you can learn best.
What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world.
And basically you're just going to repeat the line until you get it fully blended together, which is, once you get this fully blended together, you should be able to do any other line or even just talk like it, honestly. Like, honestly, after you blend it all together, you should be able to talk like Black Panther and say whatever you want. Say any of your favorite lines, anything. It honestly does not matter. But hopefully I taught it in the best way possible. I tried to make it as easy to understand and follow. I know the accent part was probably harder to understand, and that's because that was the hardest part to teach. But I hope I kind of, made you guys understand a little bit better. But if you would like to give a try at doing the voice impression, create a response video, and you can DM it to me on Twitter, Discord, or even on YouTube, and I will go watch it. So hopefully this did help. If it did, let me know down in the comment section below, and then I will make some new ones in the future. But if it didn't help, also let me know and see, kind of give me some tips on what exactly wasn't explained the most, and then I could make either a follow-up video or just, kind of clear it up in the comment sections below. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy today's video, leave a like, subscribe, and you guys know the drill.
I will see you guys later.